What's going on, everybody? It's Warren. Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder, and yesterday's Loki finale was absolutely insane. There was a lot that was answered, a lot that was revealed, but we're also left with a lot more questions, but luckily we are going to be getting a Season 2, and movies like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and Spider-Man No Way Home are going to also help clear some things up. So yes, we have to wait for Season 2, but Spider-Man's going to be crazy, and it sounds like Doctor Strange is going to be absolutely bonkers as well. Elizabeth Olsen has recently stated that they really are trying to make a scary movie, and we recently got reports that Tom Hiddleston's Loki will be in Multiverse of Madness, which is very fitting since him and Sylvie caused that, and we'll get into that. But first, thank you to Red Magic 6R for sponsoring this video. We'll talk about them in a bit, but one big question that everybody had at the end of the Loki finale was, where did Renslayer go? And if you haven't seen the Loki episode 6 finale, spoilers coming up, so if you don't care, great. If you do, bye. Renslayer just yeeted out of there. All she said was that she was going in search of free will. It wasn't even really revealed if she knew who He Who Remains was. Although it didn't really seem like it, you never really know, because where did she go? Well, luckily we actually don't have to wonder too much, because Marvel themselves actually put out an article explaining what had happened at the end. The article is actually called Loki, The Truth About Judge Renslayer and Miss Minutes. And I'll break down this entire article and talk about if Renslayer actually knew Kang, or He Who Remains, or was she blindsided as well, and where exactly did she go and set out to do in the end when she left the TVA. And if you're new and you want to stay up to date on all things MCU, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the latest videos. Now, this article released by Marvel is actually really cool because they tell us what she's thinking that is not said on screen. And it starts off by talking about how when the series first begins, she's very loyal and it's very black and white. The TVA is good, everything else is kind of bad. It's their job to prune these other timelines so they can protect the sacred timeline and prevent a multiversal war. And the TVA actually did a good job at that. They protected the sacred timeline. There was only one, no branch timelines were created, and there was no multiversal war. As soon as Sylvie killed Kang, it all just went crazy. And as Kang / He Who Remains said, the TVA works. And boy, was he right, because as soon as he was gone, it all went into madness. And this article goes on to tell us that Renslayer believes in the TVA. Even if it was kind of created by a lie, it still works. One paragraph reads, "She has the making of a very complex villain that has her own set of principles and beliefs that drive her. She doesn't believe that what she's doing is evil. She believes that the mission is for greater good. And Renslayer probably wishes that she never learned that the timekeepers were fake, that they had just been able to keep doing this forever." And that's from the head writer, Michael Waldron. And we see this actually play out on screen. Mobius says that, "I think the people are ready to hear a little truth, like the TVA is a lie." But Renslayer immediately replies, "But what if it's a necessary one?" In this scene right here, the article reads that Renslayer is desperate, especially when Mobius and Hunter B-15 are kind of starting to show everybody that the TVA really is a lie. They continue to explain, "She's the good soldier of the TVA, just a disciple to the bureaucracy. Then it's revealed to be a lie to her. Instead of that galvanizing her and making her question her life's purpose, the way it did with Mobius, Renslayer wants to stay in power. She reacts more in anger. And this is actually one key of why she left." And this is where they explain what she's up to. They say that the idea that pretty much everyone in the TVA is a variant and that there are other variants of Renslayer in different times, that was kind of mind-blowing to me. And this is Mbatha Ross speaking, who plays Renslayer in the MCU. She continues to say, "We just dipped our toe into this at the end of the show, but you realize that the multiverse is just so epic. The possibilities are endless. There's so much potential for what's on the other side of that time door, and ultimately, she wants revenge with whoever put this whole facade together." As for her parting thoughts as she disappears to parts unknown, she's thinking, "Peace out, bye, free will. I get free will now." She wants to find who pulled the wool over her eyes. That's what she's going to go out in search of. And they end by saying, "She is a scary customer to be out there in the multiverse, so we'll see what happens." So in this article, Marvel reveals to us where Renslayer went. She went in search of the person that created the TVA as well, verifying that she did not know He Who Remains. In this article, they also state that she did not know that the timekeepers were a lie. And the series actually made it pretty clear that she spoke with the Timekeeper several times. However, of course, we know that it was He Who Remains that was controlling them. Or Miss Minutes, but of course she works for him. Now, there are serious implications of Renslayer walking away to go and find He Who Remains / King. And I actually think that she herself is about to become a major villain as well. And I'll explain this in just a bit. But real quick, thank you to Red Magic 6R for sponsoring this video.
When it comes to playing games on your phone, the Red Magic 6R is the ultimate gaming phone by a long shot. Well, when it comes to playing games on this phone, you get a 144Hz 6.67-inch screen with a 360Hz touch refresh rate, making basically anything you play look absolutely incredible. And if that wasn't enough, you get quadruple cameras, meaning you're pretty much going to be taking the best photos no matter what setting you're in. You have a 64-megapixel main camera, an 8-megapixel ultra-wide angle, a 5-megapixel macro camera, and a 2-megapixel depth of field camera. You have ultra-fast, dual independent shoulder triggers with a response time of 8.3 milliseconds. Basically, if you're a gamer and you want a phone that's going to let you play whatever you want, whenever you want, and also be insanely fast and have a super high quality camera, you need to check out the Red Magic 6R, and you can do so in the description down below.
Now, the ending of the Loki finale inside of the TVA can be a little bit confusing. This isn't an alternate timeline because the TVA exists outside of time. I'll definitely do a video just breaking this down, but for the moment, basically what you need to know is that Kang came in, conquered the TVA, and has taken it over. Now, Kang has definitely changed things, and he's definitely gotten different variants of people and replaced them. And he's definitely brainwashed people and erased their previous memories in a different way than He Who Remains did. So basically what you need to know is it's a different TVA, and Kang the Conqueror rules this one, and Marvel.com did confirm that that statue at the end is indeed Kang. So it's a different TVA, one that Ravonna Renslayer was not around for when it was changed. She is left to search for He Who Remains, however, he's dead. She'll eventually find out that this new Kang is in charge of the TVA, and that's who she's going to go after. However, it might go down a little bit differently than she would expect. You see, if you've been following my videos or you're a comic book fan, you know that Ravonna Renslayer and Kang the Conqueror actually, eventually, fall in love, much like Loki and Sylvie did. And I still don't care what anybody says, I still like that that happened. But Ravonna and Kang don't start off being lovers. In fact, when they first meet each other, Kang's a pretty big jerk, and in fact, that could be what He Who Remains was referring to when he said that he's been called a jerk, a conqueror. You see, Ravonna Renslayer in the comics is a princess, and Kang pretty much comes up and says, "Hey, I demand an audience with you." And she's like, "What? No. Who are you? Who granted you access here? No, get out of here." And even her dad, the king, is like, "Nah, request denied." But this is how Kang replies. "Silence, you are merely puppet rulers, and you know that full well. Kang is the power here, now and always. If you incur my displeasure, I may not permit you to one day rule the universe at my side, Ravonna." She replies with, "I'd rather die," and he replies with, "That too can be arranged with Kang. All things are possible." Then the Avengers come and fight him, and Kang pretty much destroys them with ease, like it's literally no big deal to him at all. Then Kang says, "I've earned your marriage by conquest." So he's kind of romantic, I guess. But ultimately it doesn't matter because eventually they do end up falling in love with each other, and they become lovers. And I'm predicting that in season 2 we might see a very similar story. Ravonna will be searching for Kang, and since he is the one that created the TVA lie, or at least a variant of him did, she's gonna be pretty pissed off originally. However, this new Kang has his own TVA, and the variants of all the people are still there. Perhaps he wants to use the TVA still, of course for his own doing, but use them nonetheless, and perhaps when Renslayer returns, she will see eye to eye with him. After all, she did want the TVA to stay intact even though she knew the Timekeepers were alive. And I'm sure she could get that free will that she'd been searching for if she marries Kang. And if this does happen, she would rule beside him. And given her philosophy in episode 6, she would probably rule just like him. Maybe not as evil, but she would still be sending people to Eliath. Because one thing is for sure, the Kang the Conqueror that is coming, that is now in charge of the TVA, is going to be extremely evil. Even He Who Remains said, "If you think I'm evil, well, wait till you meet my variants. So a lot to look forward to in season 2 of Loki, but for now, where did Renslayer go? Well, she went in search of Kang. She wants revenge on the person that fed her this lie. So let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. Let me know how much you enjoyed the Loki finale, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest news. For live updates, you can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.